And we back. We about to try to make this 2 videos a week thing on the reg. When I only put out 1 a week, feels like I'm fucking slacking. All these other reaction channels putting out like fucking 50 videos a week and shit. I try to put a little bit of editing to my shit so I can't just record like that, but I feel like 2 videos a week is a good pace. Gives you enough time to miss me. Gives you enough time to tell me what's really going on. Turn us back up in this thing, we ready. What's happening? We just did Encore. I'm gonna skip Curtain Call because that was more of like a greatest hits. We're moving on into the next actual album, which was Relapse. And this is after he had a stint with going into rehab for sleeping pill addiction and for prescription medication pill addiction. One of the standout tracks on the album, especially since he's brought Shady back, is gonna be My Darling. And this is kind of like the first time that we realize that Eminem is fighting with his alter ego. Today I got one of the finest American lagers known to man to drink. You know what's a fine beer when you can buy them in singles, tall boys, sixers, 12 packs, 18 and 24 packs, in special portions of the country, 30 packs. And that's none other than Bud Light, baby. Pop a top again. I think I'll have another round. Set 'em up, my friend. Ah. Just listen to how sinister and dark the beat is. It sounds eerie as fuck. I love the beat selection that he chooses because it goes with the thematic elements of the song.
If I were to rap about the crap that's out, that's the route you probably want me to take. Cause you're just dying to know what I think and my take on some other rappers. If I was to say something about wow, you probably grabbing your pants. Cause I'm white and he's white, so he's like my competition, right? Nope, Tall Wall is dope, and so's Bubba, so...
See, he's already saying because he used to just go at people. That's the route y'all want me to take because that's what y'all are used to because you're just dying to know what I think. And Paul Wall and Bubba Sparks are 2 other white rappers in the game that came up from the South. I think Bubba's from Mississippi, maybe not. Paul Wall's definitely from H-Town though. You want me to hate on them because they're my competition only because they're white? Nope. It almost sounds like he knows that people are gonna want him to instigate. He's saying, I'm trying not to be about that anymore. Again, trying to be a better person, coming out of addiction into sobriety, trying to leave that chapter of his life behind.
I don't compete with nobody. I just go hard, do the rope-a-dope, Ali shuffle, and dance around my opponents who don't. Sometimes I play possum, like I'm asleep, it's awesome. I'm like a sleeping giant, and when I wake, I'm like Dre. I just jump from out of nowhere, but bite prey, and sink my teeth in them and fill them full of poison, and make a noise like a snake before I kill him, and let him know that I just don't feel him, and smack him with the backwood Eminem, Eminem.
That's a bad line right there. Sometimes I play possum like I'm asleep, it's awesome. I'm like a sleeping giant, and when I awake, I'm like Dre. Talking about Andre the Giant, but also double entendre, talking about Dr. Dre. He's like a snake, stick my teeth in him and fill him full of poison and let it make a noise like a snake before I kill him. Smack him with the backward E, the Eminem emblem. This is what I'm talking about with Eminem's genius when it comes to rhyming. It should be smack him with the backward E, the Eminem emblem, but that doesn't rhyme, that doesn't fit the rhyme scheme, that doesn't fit the syllable pattern of the song, so he says emblem instead of emblem.
I never thought if you're gonna murder somebody, you should face him. Tell him why, look him dead in the eye, then waste him. And the dark shall emerge from the fiery depths of hell and swallow the shallow, the hollow who dwell in the shadows of all who are willing to sell their souls for this rap game and it goes.
This is a bad line too right here. And the dark shall emerge from the fiery depths of hell and swallow the shell of all the hollow who dwell in the shadows of all who are willing to sell their souls. And swallow the shell of the hollow who dwell in the shadows. This shadow creature is here to swallow all of the hollow bodies because they're just shells, because there is no soul in those shells anymore. They sold their soul, so now they're empty shells of who they used to be.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That ain't the hook, now follow me. There's nothing else for me to say, my public adores me. Everybody bores me, they're just so corny. So at night before I sleep, I look in the mirror. The mirror grows lips and it whispers, come nearer, my darling.
Hey, what's up? You made it. So that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's so many double and triple entendres just from that. 1, 2, 3, that's like a mic check, but also 1, 2, 3 equals 6, says it 3 times, 666. Obviously the number of demonic possessions in... All right, that's cool. But also he says 1, 2, 3 at 1 minute and 23 seconds into the song. Whether that's just dumb luck or planning ahead, who knows? Only Eminem, but it's fucking tight. He's at a point and stage in his career where it's almost like, what do I do next? I honestly don't know. Everybody bores me. I don't even want to speak on them. So at night before I sleep, I look in the mirror, just like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but the mirror grows lips and it whispers, come here, my darling.
My darling, I don't ever want you to leave me, my darling. You and me were meant to be together, my darling. If I cannot have you, no one can be my darling. Cause I possess your soul, your mind, your heart, and your body.
It's such a good line, my darling. My darling, it sounds like something that someone should be saying of affection. Like someone calls you my darling, my love, that kind of thing. But here it's like, if I can't have you, no one can. You're about to die, my darling. It's like Phantom of the Opera. You know what I'm saying? If you ever seen Phantom of the Opera, the Phantom has this hold on the star opera singer. In sleep he sang to me. If you've never seen Phantom of the Opera, it's dope. The play, not the movie. The movie's kind of trash. But anyway. The song comes into its own and you realize what's going on in the second verse. And this is really where the song comes alive and you understand that we're fighting with this demonic presence, whether that be addiction, whether that be Slim Shady himself.
I know you in there somewhere, come here, talk to me, sit here, pull up a chair, why don't you cut your hair? Dye it back, come on, try it.
No, I told you, leave me the fuck alone, will you?
But I'm here to rebuild you.
But I already killed you.
When I realized that he's talking to the demon or the demonic spirit in the mirror, now whether that be his addiction, and his addiction is trying to come back into the picture, and once you've reached that level of addiction, your brain chemicals and the wiring of your neurons and how things fire in your brain, they've all changed. And you can get sober, but that addiction is always going to be there haunting you in the back of your minds. That's why sobriety is so hard and relapses happen so often. It could also be Slim Shady talking about himself in the third person, trying to convince Eminem to let Slim Shady back into the picture. That's why he says, Shady, I know you're in there somewhere, come here. Because Shady is the one who let the addiction into the picture. Why don't you cut your hair, dye it back? Come on, try it. Because Slim Shady is the one that dyed his hair with peroxide, and he's the one that wore the white t-shirts, and he's the one that talks shit. It's his anger, it's his depression, it's his addiction trying to bring Shady back out, and he's trying to keep Shady suppressed. And then he says, no, I told you, leave me the fuck alone, will you? But I'm here to rebuild you. And he means rebuild because at this point in his career, people were saying that Eminem fell off. Encore didn't do too hot. Curtain Call, like he released this random album that was like half new songs and half greatest hits. So he's saying, I'm here to rebuild you. I'm here to get you back to where you were before because you need Slim Shady in order to get there.
With Shady, we were meant for each other. Think about your mother.
Yeah, so what of her?
Think about what she did to you and your little brother. All the foster homes.
Fuck you, motherfucker! I had you beat!
No, I was playing possum, remember? I let you watch your little girls blossom. I gave you enough time, your soul's mine. I'm taking it back.
You fucking bitch, why?
Because I love you. Look a little closer. Isn't that us on that poster?
My darling.
He says, Shady, we were meant for each other. Think about your mother. It's addiction. It's Slim Shady telling him to think about your mother. Think about all the shit she put you through, hoping he'll slip back into that addictive personality he was. The presence is saying, I was just playing possum. You thought you killed me? Just like Eminem said at the beginning of the song, he says, sometimes I play possum like I'm asleep. It's awesome. I'm like a sleeping giant. That's the way the addiction is talking. That's the way Slim Shady is talking. I was playing possum. I was just in the background knowing that I would always be there. I'll let him do his thing. I'll let him live his life for a little bit. I gave you enough time. Your soul's mine. So I'm jumping back into the front seat. I'm jumping back into the driver's seat of this thing. He's like, why? Like, why are you doing this to me? Just like any kind of toxic relationship, because I love you. I'm protecting you from you, even though you need protection from yourself and me. Look a little closer. Isn't that us on that poster? Literally talking about the poster for this relapse where it's nothing but pills that make his face. Such a 6-second verse.
Listen, you need that? It's screaming for you. I can bring your career back.
But I don't want it back.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You're gonna regret it later.
No, I won't.
See, he's well aware that Slim Shady made his career. So he's saying, I don't even want it back. But the inner side of him is saying, Yes, you do. This is what somebody with addiction has to deal with every single day of their lives as they're trying to stay sober.
I'm gonna be Dre on the phone. I'll just call the doctor.
Go ahead, I already talked to Dre yesterday.
Well, I got him on the phone right now.
You're lying.
Yo, Slim.
How? Why now? What up, Dre?
Check this out, Slim. I gotta talk to you. I don't know. It just seems like ever since you got off your drugs, you became a lot softer.
But Dre, all Shady is a bottle of hair bleaching vodka.
Well, just think about it, Slim. I'm here. Just sit me back and let me know what's up.
Fuck this man!
Dre's on the phone, but it's not really Dr. Dre. It's like a projection, if you've ever seen Inception. It's like Eminem projecting the want to be successful and the want to be successful in the rap game onto Dr. Dre, even though I'm sure since Dr. Dre is his best friend, would rather him be healthy and sober. You know Eminem is thinking what Dr. Dre is saying in this. Ever since you got off your drugs, you became a lot softer. Maybe you should get back on it because you're not the artist and the rapper you once were. And then it's Eminem's actual side trying to tell the projection all Shady is a bottle of hair bleach and vodka. That's so twisted and so convoluted. Like that whole portion with Dr. Dre is not even really Dr. Dre.
I'm not in the mirror, I'm inside you. Let me guide you.
Fuck you, die, you son of a bitch!
Put the gun down.
Bye-bye! Okay, I'm still alive.
So am I too. You can't kill a spirit even if you tried to.
Let me guide you. Stop with all this making it seem like this isn't what you want. Just let me guide you. Fuck you, die, you son of a bitch. You can't use these mortal things to try and kill this spirit. Again, another reason why addiction is so strong, because once addiction is there, you can't get rid of it. That's why they say I've stayed sober for X amount of years. It's always there trying to get back at you. So you've been fighting it for X amount of years and winning. Whereas someone who doesn't have any kind of addiction, no one that's not addicted says, oh yeah, I've been sober from alcohol for 10 years. They just say, oh, I just don't drink. I'm not a drinker. But someone who is an alcoholic and fights that battle every day, they can say, I won that battle for 10 years by saying, I'm staying sober.
Sold your soul to me, need I remind you? Remember that night you prayed to God you give anything to get a record deal? When Dre signed you, this is what you wanted your whole life. Also right, look at this house, look at these cars, they're so nice. Oh, but you didn't know that there's a price too. That you just now seeing the downside too. Who's your best friend from high school, your wife too? Ain't even sure if your kids like you. Come off tour, can't even sleep at night without NyQuil. Become a value-matic, start a rehab cycle. But together we can break the cycle. Marshall, no one's gonna love you like I do.
The end portion of that, it gets me every single time when the chainsaw goes and then the bullets fire in the background and him yelling, like it just sends chills down my spine. You can just hear the angst and the anger. No matter how hard he tries to kill this, it's always gonna be there and he knows it.
No one's gonna love you like I do.
God. But the whole part where he's like, oh, you sold your soul to me, need I remind you? Remember that night you pray to God you give anything to get a record deal? Well, Dre signed you. You thought you could just say those things and get that record deal that you prayed for and not have these negative repercussions? Nah, that's not how it works. He's like, this is what you wanted your whole life, Marshall. What's the big deal? Why do you have this negative thought process on it now? This is what you wanted. Look at these cars, look at these houses. You got the nice shit. Oh, but you didn't know that there's a price too? And you're just now seeing the downside too? Lose your best friend from high school, your wife too? Talking about proof? Ain't even sure if your kids like you? Who knows, because I'm always on tour, I'm always writing, I'm always in the booth, I'm always on drugs. I don't even know what my kids think of me. Become a value-matic and start a rehab cycle? But together we can break that cycle. Talking about the rehab cycle, we can get you back into the fun portion of the rap game together. And then Marshall, hello, no one's gonna love you like I do. Such a sick song. Addiction has such a stigma around it. It's definitely not as bad as it used to be, but any kind of mental addiction disorder, people think, oh, you're addicted to something that you chose to do at one point. And that, oh, if it was so easy to choose to do, it should be so easy to come off. I feel like people with addiction, people with anything wrong with them, any kind of ailment, a lot of times it's hard for them to put that ailment out into the public for people to understand, because a lot of these things, in order to understand, you have to be going through them. Like people with migraines like myself, especially the ones that don't have quote unquote painful headaches like mine. I get vertigo, I get dizzy, I get, nauseous, but I really don't have a migraine quote unquote type of headache. So it's hard for me to describe when it happens to me. People going through abusive relationships, it's easy for people to just say, oh, well, just get out of it. Well, it's not that easy. Well, why isn't it that easy? I don't know. Same thing for addiction. Oh, well, just stop taking the drugs, stop drinking. It's not that easy. Oh, well, it was that easy for you to start. Yeah, but it's not that easy to get off now. So for someone to be able to put this out there and make it so coherent. But anyway, I hope that gives y'all some insight as to why I like that song so much, why I chose that one off of Relapse, because the name of the album fits perfectly with this song, him fighting the struggle to not relapse. Thank you for being here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. We just hit 3,400. As always, thank y'all guys for being here. Like the video if you're a Bud Light drinker. Like the video if you're not a Bud Light drinker. Like the video if you never even fucking heard about Bud Light until right now. Anyways, peace.
If I can, I have you know I'm my darling. 'Cause I possess your soul, your mind, your heart, and your body.